Hi everyone, welcome to Hunter Gatherer Cooking. I recently managed to actually go up to Highland Outdoors and get my rifle, which I'm buzzing about. But today I am going to set it up, well, learn to set it up. So I'm with James at the range and he's going to talk me through it. So I've got the proof in there, bolt out, nothing's on. And then we're going to put the GPO on, Spartan, the Tier 1, Freyr and Devik, and then get some rounds through it. Okay, so we've got the gun on the gun rest, and yeah, James is going to hopefully take me through it all.
Yeah, so yeah, first thing you noticed, it's always good, you know, setting up a rifle to have a nice sturdy, you know, gun rest. This isn't the best one, but it does the job just nicely. That keeps everything nice and sturdy and straight. I think as you've been told by the whole of the shooting community how to set your rifle up, Alex.
We must clean it.
We must clean it. We must break in the barrel properly. First step with a new rifle, Alex, it's not going to hurt to clean the barrel in case the manufacturer's got any, you know, anti-rusting coatings in there or anything like that. So we're gonna just put a patch down just to clean the barrel and make sure yeah, there's nothing in there that's going to foul our bullets as we go through. A couple of options you've got for there. There's all sorts of, you get these power pull through kits from Napier, and they take little patches like that go through a little loop, and you can just build them up based on how thick you want them. I personally like the kit from Jacqueline. That is a bit of a posh one. You get these inserts that are caliber specific. This is for my 308, so this won't be any good for yours today, but this is a really nice kit to get. Lots of different cleaners you can get. Personally, I'm a big fan, not very well heard of, but the best of us use Ballistol. It's not readily available in gun shops. I haven't seen it anyway, so search for it on Amazon. This is really good stuff, and not a lot of people know about it. Otherwise, there's lots of ones like this in your gun shop that will do it. It's just a standard cleaner, preservative, lubricant. It's enough just for cleaning your barrel through. Eventually you might want to get onto like the more corrosive ones that for copper and for carbon, but they're really corrosive at this stage. You've got a brand new barrel, you don't need to be, you know, using those, but maybe after 1,000 rounds you might want to clean the barrel with copper and carbon cleaners as well. Just for now, we're just going to pop a patch down. So nice and simple, at the end of the barrel. So we're dragging it through in the direction the bullet comes out when you clean it. All the way through. So she comes right there. We get our few patches. And we'll give it just a little light spray on there. We don't want to get loads of fluid in the barrel, and we'll give ourselves more problems than we're solving. So yeah, and just hook that right there, and then just from the other end, just going to pull that all the way through. Excellent. And if we have a little look at the patch, you know, it's pretty clean. So yeah, we'll do that a further 3 times off camera, just to be sure. Right, next step, we want to get our scope mounted on there. Again, lots of people got lots of different ways of doing it. I'll show you the way that I do it, and you're free to search any other ways and take any other advice. First thing I would say is you've bought excellent mounts. These are Tier 1, in my opinion. These are the best you can get. It's really important if you want to keep zero and have that confidence when you're hunting that you're going to hit the target. Some nice sturdy mounts are very important. Don't scrimp on getting yourself a pair of 30-pound, you know, air rifle gun mounts. Get yourself something nice and decent like this, which you've done. So brilliant.
I did something right then.
Yeah, well, I think probably Sarah's helped you out in that, pointed you in the right direction there. So yeah, she's done you proud there, mate. She's got you a nice set of scope rings. So we're going to put those on first. I'm just going to get an idea of where this scope wants to sit and where we can position them. We know for you this scope's going to be quite far forward because you're a big lad, and we've got maybe quite a short stock length here, so we don't want this scope all the way back here. So
I don't want that in my eye again.
No, don't want that hitting you. So I'm thinking probably about there, and then we've got plenty of rail here to play with anyway. So if we look at installing the scope mounts somewhere here and here, that should give us an inch or so forward and backwards. Before I do that, you've got a couple of torque screws here. I would just give them a little tweak, just a confidence, just to make sure that the manufacturer's done them up nice and tight. So we'll give those a little tweak before we put the mounts on.
That looks like a very nerdy, gadgety.
Yeah,
nice
I mean these are, you know, these are worth getting. This is a torque screwdriver, so I can set the amount of torque that it puts on the screw, just so that I know I'm doing it up tight enough, but I'm not over tightening it. So you can hear it just cam over there when it's tight. So you just cannot over tighten that? No. So who makes that one? This is from Freyr. But I'm sure there's, again, just off of Amazon. They're not cheap, but they're if you do a lot of this sort of thing, they're worth doing. So those are nice and tight, and you can also now ensure they're all the same torque setting. So, and we'll do the same. Just all hand tight for now, and then we'll take the top rings off. Norman from the gun club will tell you to work in diagonals. That's more so for when you tighten them up, but yeah, makes sense. We've just got all this just hand tight for now. Again, we're just going to check that position of that scope. Sits in there.
Now, do you need me?
Well, we've got, once we get the top rings on, we'll leave it all loose, and then we've got a good bit of play there for you anyway. So chances are you're going to find your eye relief somewhere in that zone. We're going to pop the top rings on, just tighten those up, just so that the scope will still move, but it's now not gonna fall off. While all that scope's loose, I want you just to get your head down on the stock and let's just get this eye relief right.
So it doesn't matter about it being wonky?
No, just want to get the distance from your eye to that scope with the rifle back into your shoulder nice and tight. Okay. So adjust that, and we generally say we want here, if you go back on the scope again, Alex, yeah, we generally say here we want 3, maybe 4 fingers before your eye. So where you are there is fine. That's not going to come back and hit you in the face. So, okay. But again, if you can bring that forward or back to suit you where you're comfortable, then, or are you happy there?
Yeah, I mean,
seems all right.
It's so hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, if you can see,
but I mean,
if you can see through it, okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm happy the eye relief is good. It's not going to come back and hit you. Yeah. Okay. You're welded into your shoulder there. So we are going to talk about getting a bit of an extension on there, aren't we?
Yeah,
but,
I think so.
For now, that'll work. Okay. Happy?
Yeah.
So now that we've got your eye relief set correctly, we now want to bolt this scope down, but it's really important that the scope is parallel to the barrel, or really the Picatinny rail there. And a lot of people will use a little spirit level bubble, and they'll put that on top of the Picatinny rail and then level up the rifle like this. Once that's set, they then got to be very careful not to touch the rifle and throw it out of level. They then got to put a little spirit level on top of the scope here and level that in as well, hoping that that stayed level and that this is level. But to me, that's all too subjective as to what you think is level, and you know, where you read the bubble and what have you. What I advise is you get yourself a set of scope mounting clamps, because this is going to make, as long as we've got a flat bottom on the bottom of our scope, this is going to make the top of the Picatinny rail and the bottom of the scope parallel to each other. So what we do is we just set those in there like that, and then if we push from both sides, that will start to clamp up, and then as it gets tighter and tighter, then you should see that scope will come round. Now that's wedged quite firmly in there, and hopefully you'll be able to see then it must be parallel between the top of the Picatinny rail and the base of the scope. The nice thing about that is, it doesn't matter. We can mount that scope on with the scope, you know, with a gun like that, like that. It isn't going to matter. It's not subjective to what is level on the spirit level. That is going to ensure, you know, absolute, you know, accuracy. We'll then tweak these screws up, lock everything down nice and tight, and we should be ready to go. But yeah, tier 1 make these scope wedges. well worth investing in a set. Much better than spirit leveling. And we're just tightening all this down now, going from corner to corner, just hand tightening that for now. And you just have to keep going round and round. Okay, now those are all hand tight. I'll then go back and I'll put the torque setting in. So wait for it to calm over. I'm not going to tell you what torque setting I use because there'll be everybody telling me I should use ½ pound more or ½ pound less. So those will all be set now to the same strength. And what we'll want to do after a couple of shots is we'll want to just test these again, make sure they haven't worked loose.
Got everything on now except the moderator, so he said even I can do this. So it's just a case of unscrewing. What's this called? Does it have a name?
No, just a thread protector. If you're not using a mod, you'd thread that on just to save stripping and getting dirt and crap in your mod.
And it just screws on, right?
Yep.
And how tight should this go on?
A good hand tightening. You know, don't go blue in the face, but yeah, give it a good twist and turn. So we've now got the scope all bolted down, nice and parallel and level. We've got our mod on. Next thing to do is to bore sight our scope and barrel. That should get us roughly on paper at sort of 25 to 50 yards. So what you're doing there is you're looking down the bore of the gun and you're trying to see that 25-yard target there. And then you're going to go to the scope, yeah, and you're going to see where the scope is pointing in relation to the barrel.
Right, so I've got bottom right.
Yeah, so it's low and right.
Yeah.
So we'll make that adjustment on the scope now to bring that up onto the target as well.
Yeah.
And then the bore and the scope will be roughly
that
aligned.
Right.
So what Alex is doing now is he's adjusting his scope turrets to get the scope pointing at that target, and then he'll go between the scope and the bore to ensure that the bore and the scope are both pointing at our 25-yard target there. We're all bore sighted now. What we want to do now, Alex, is just put a round down into that target at 25 yards, and let's just see where we are on paper. So this will be the first shot with a new gun then. Okay, excellent. Right, we'll see where that impacted and we'll make adjustments from there. Wow, look at that. I mean, that's some good bore sighting there, because I mean, you're just low of the bullseye. So based on that, we're on paper, we're really close to the bullseye. If we now go and shoot down at 100 yards, we should also be on paper, and we'll make our final adjustments for zeroing when we're down there. So, in your own time, Alex, shot at bullseye, please. Excellent. So we'll now have a little look where that went, and we'll make adjustments accordingly. So we bore sighted your gun, Alex. Yeah. We then had you take a shot at bullseye at 100 yards, and we found that we were about 5 inches high. So we adjusted our scope. Our next shot went here. We adjusted again, and we were pretty much on bullseye. What I then asked you to do was to take a 3-shot group at this bullseye to confirm our zero, and arguably just over an inch group here. We're pretty happy. The average is the bullseye, so we would call that gun zeroed. What we're going to do anyway is we're just going to shoot some more groups on this target, just to break the gun and the barrel in a little bit more, and just see how it is grouping, how it likes the ammo. We've got some different ammo to try as well, so we'll try that, and we'll just see what it likes and how it groups.
Right, stop recording.
No.
it, that's the 5. So I'm glad I've got it all zeroed now. I can't wait to actually get out and use it. I think it's a fantastic rifle. The scope seems great. The ammunition seems great as well, to be fair. I mean, I've not got a lot to compare it to, but looking at the last sort of groupings and things, I'm delighted. So thank you to James for all of this. Thanks to everyone for supporting me, and let's get out there. Remember, hit that subscribe button, give the video one of those, and drop me a comment, and I'll always come back to you as soon as I can.